The blind spot with many insider threat programs is the identity risk component. Security teams typically have all sorts of fancy tools to enable us to detect administrative changes, behavioral changes, suspicious files, data loss events, and so on. But a piece of the puzzle is missing there. Understanding users' risk from the perspective of stolen credentials and sessions kind of powers up our understanding of potential insider threats much earlier than behavioral or DLP signals can. I think visibility into identity compromise provides both earlier and enriched understanding of risk identities and thus users, whether it's due to credential compromise, malware infections, or a fraudulent actor posing as a legitimate employee. Traditional tools have a really hard time um, accurately representing that, seeing specific identities that have been exposed and credentials that have been exposed and sessions that have been stolen. These are very real data points that represent very real risk. Partnering security with HR with ongoing identity verification starts with a shared understanding and building joint processes for continuously verifying employee identities. Uh, Pre-employment screening can only cover so much. A partnership between security and HR enables the org to effectively monitor and take action, identifying any insider threats during the employment lifecycle, from hiring to when they leave the organization. Having access to the data, something like SpyCloud offers, to get an understanding of that risk and put these pieces together and understand what components of their identity are out there and are exposed, and what malware logs they may have had on their personal devices and things like that. Right, that they paint a much earlier and more proactive picture of what their risk looks like when we're interested in onboarding them or extending an offer to a user. When we're talking about insider threat programs, DLP is probably what comes to, that's the first big thing that comes to mind. DLP is notoriously difficult and time consuming to deploy and manage, and work alerts from. And not to say that it's not worth it or you shouldn't do that. Um, but for teams that are maybe smaller, and maybe don't have extensive budgets, something that's a little more shifted left and a little more proactive is maybe more attractive and maybe is more actionable up front than trying to manage some of these beastie kind of anomaly detection, the machine learning algorithms, and all this kind of stuff that we have to do to find those signals that are worthwhile.